Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Chat Network. I'm your host, Nico, and joining with me today, as always, my co-host, Chris. How you doing?
Hey, not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. 145 episodes, Chris.
Well, go strong.
Almost on the way to 150. We might have to try to think of something special to do for that one because that's a big one. And then, shortly after that, we'll be doing our year-end, Comic Shop Talk Awards. It'll be close to the end of the year by that point. So, really looking forward to that. Hope you guys all joined us. The people that were over on the Late Night Collectors Community YouTube channel there. We've closed that down now. It's still searchable. You can still find the channel if you search for it, but there's no videos available on there. It just kind of locked it away for maybe a rainy day down the road where we have to resurrect it for some whatever reason. But for now, it's inaccessible. So, yeah, we hope you all joined us over here on the Late Night Chat Network. And I hope you follow us on Instagram. I think I'm going to try to start posting again there. Me and Chris kind of dropped the ball on posting our comics there for a bit. And yeah, maybe we'll get back to doing that and kind of maybe post some more comic related things on there. I'll give you a reason to follow us on Instagram, at least now that we close the YouTube channel. But at Late Night Chat Network is our Instagram for the YouTube channel here. And then we have at Comic Shop Talk I think it was at Late Night Collectors Community. So you know what, I'm probably going to change that name, but at Late Night Collectors Community is our Instagram for all the Comic Shop Talk stuff, which we haven't been posting to lately, but I'm probably going to rebrand that to Comic Shop Talk. So stay tuned. I'll announce that when we do it. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. You can go back and check out our playlist, all kinds of great stuff here on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. We cover it all, Chris. We cover it all kinds of stuff here.
A to Z.
New comics for the week of September 11th, 2024. But we only cover comics here, Chris. That's, this on this show, that's all we cover. All right.
I'll touch on a few things every once in a while.
Of course. Yeah. Sometimes we talk about what's going on in the world of comics or update you and stuff, other things on the show. Sometimes we go on some funny tangents. So check out our episodes. It's a good time when me and Chris get together here. Spoiler warning. Be forewarned, we are going to talk about, I don't know why I'm sugarcoating it for you guys. We're going to spoil a bunch of books here, guys. So sorry if you read your books. I've warned you. This is your warning. So you can always read your stuff and then come back if you're worried about that kind of thing, or, just carry on because you guys want to hear what we have to say about these books. Maybe we'll get you interested in something you weren't going to check out otherwise, or steer you clear or something altogether. Because I'm sure there's always some stinkers amongst some of the books we talk about where we're like, whoa, Chris is always like, I'm glad I didn't buy this one. So you got to make sure to tune in for that. All right, Chris, that all being said.
All right. Cheers. Let's talk comics.
Let's talk some comics. There we go. Cheers.
Oops, shit.
All right. All right, first up on the docket here today, we got big number one issue here. Wolverine #1. Wolverine's back in the mix now. I got the Kari Andrews cover here.
I got a couple covers here.
I should have got the one that you got, that X-ray one. That's a hot cover. Oh, that's
nice. The negative space one. I think somebody else might have ordered it that it's not at the comic shop anymore. And then I didn't get the Gleason. Hey, kind of put it on. He goes, "Hey, you sure you don't want this?" I go, like, the first time when I went to pick up my stack, I go, "Yeah, Dad, it's not mine." I go, I think someone else ordered it, and I guess nobody else did. Like, "Sure you don't want it?" I go, "Give it to me."
That's a hot cover too. Yeah, you got the nice ones there.
It's nice. It's a nice foiled cover, so it really looks. It doesn't do it justice looking at it on screen.
I'm sure that's going to be worth some money.
That's a nice cover too, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love Kari Andrews. We're talking about him today on the show as well with Spider-Man Reign. But yeah, I like his stuff, so I had to get that one myself. But that I think already that I'm sure the value has already gone up on that X-ray one, because the last time Patrick Gleason did the web Spider-Man cover, it's like a side profile and it's all made up of webs that looks similar to the X-ray one. Same thing. That became like a big cover after that.
The biggest cover I had recently is that Wolverine one. That seems to be going through the roof.
Really? Oh,
yeah. I was surprised. Like, nothing big happened in that comic, and it was kind of a kooky character, but fuck, it seems people love it.
Right. Maybe is it because maybe there's some first appearance in that though? That's not the first Wolverine, is it? Maybe that's
the first Wolverine, yeah.
Well, that's probably why. But yeah,
but like the Wolverine isn't some new character. It's just a mashup.
Yeah, these days. Anyways.
Anything,
All right.
yeah.
What'd you think of this number one issue here, Chris, with Wolverine's
Yeah,
relaunch?
unless I'm not remembering it correctly, I didn't think it was that great. It's him. What he's running with the wolves here, and then there's some new. Is that a new guy or somebody from his Weapon X
Yep.
team is sort of stalking him,
Cyber.
and then yeah, but does it turn out to be somebody else or somebody that's controlling him or something at the end?
So there's like a whole thing at the end that there's somebody that's some sort of adamantium or some sort of like adamantium-esque type being of some sort that's made up of that. They hint at something at the end here of possibly a new character who's like it seems that he's made up of some sort of element that's adamantium based of some sort by the end of this. So, and I don't know if it's him that's going to start. I don't know if every issue he's going to fight different adamantium-based characters now because Cyber's one, right? Cyber has his arms, his whole body is made out of adamantium. They mentioned that in this issue, so maybe that's what's happening here. I have no idea, but
yeah. But after this is the same writer as Daredevil,
yeah,
and I seem to have shades of this whole Daredevil thing too, where at the end of it, like you say, he's going to be fighting almost these adamantium gods or something like that, and it's not tickling me in the right way, let's say. But otherwise, the story was decent, the art's decent, but I just sort of don't like the direction of this story so far. So I'm not sure if I even went in to get to Wolverine #2 or not, but we'll see.
I mean, I've gone ahead and pre-ordered the first few issues. I'm trying to give the ones that I was interested in at least an arc here, but honestly, like I wish I was more excited about this issue. I'm with you. And I was talking to some other people I know that are also big X-Men readers, like big fans of the X-Men books. Like the one guy I was talking to, for instance, buys like all the X-Men books when do these launches. And he was talking like, he's like, honestly, like after this relaunch, I might be done. Like across the board, we both kind of had the same sentiment that we're very overwhelmed by this launch so far. Like that's my honestly, like my big buzzword about this one is just underwhelmed. It's not that it's bad. It's just, it's not that, it's not like I need to read the next issue. I could jump out here at this point. Honestly, I
think they're saving the good stories for later on, hopefully. And they just think these all this is for all the X-Men reboots, is that they're just going to be able to sell it just because it's a #1 and they're not putting any sort of decent story into it. That's what I hope.
Yeah, same. But like I just feel like we've seen so many kind of like back to square one X-Men type stories that I feel like at this point, it's like you've seen it all being done before at this point. So like even this story of him going back to the wild to his roots.
Yeah.
You know how many times Wolverine has done this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like we just saw this in Predator. Wasn't he just roaming around in the jungle there in Predator? Yeah, or I mean in the forest too. Everybody thinks, oh, he goes back up north. It's so life changing. But how many times is he going to do this?
Yeah, Wolverine goes back to Canada. Also, what was up with the Mounties in this? They're not dressed as Mounties when they show up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I not that they all have to be dressed like, like what we picture Mounties as, but like, I don't know. That was a weird scene too. Like they mentioned Mounties, and then it just seems like he comes across a bunch of random people. I like Nightcrawler. Like I was happy to see him. Cyber is a character from his past. Like he was brought in like during Marvel Comics Present days, like after the Weapon X storyline. So that tracks. So that's what I mean. Like there's a lot of familiar tropes and like things. Like you're like, yep, that's a Wolverine comic. But that's also the reason that this doesn't feel very different or exciting or new.
Yeah, they just kind of hit all the notes, but there's nothing new or nothing fresh. Let's say.
So it's not that it's bad. It's just like I just was a little underwhelmed. I'll say the art was fine too. I didn't mind the art. The art was. I don't know this artist really. I don't feel like I've seen their work before. What the hell's his name here? It's another Italian. Martin Capullo. I don't know. Yeah. Martin Capullo. I guess maybe he's not even Italian. I don't know. But yeah, it was fine. That's all I gotta say about it. Yeah. It was a Wolverine comic. I wish I could say more, but yeah, I guess like you said, we'll see where we go from here. But yeah, so Cyber gets killed here at the end, and it's almost as if like he fucks him up. He takes out his other eye, and then he kind of is like, like creeping around the forest, being like, "Oh yeah, I'll regroup and I'll heal and I'm getting back for this." He took out my other eye, and then all of a sudden, this thing like basically
like
like
some gold goo or something.
and absorbs him, essentially, like absorbs his like adamantium. Yeah, he's like a gold, like you said, like a substance of some sort. So it looks like looks like Cyber, this guy, but he's got the gold instead of like the silver adamantium. So I don't know if it's like what does he say here again? I'm just like, it says it has purified him of his weak will, made him worthy of wielding, but its work has only begun. More of the false metal adamantium remains, and it will not rest again until all of it has been purged from this earth. So I don't think this might even be a stronger element than adamantium or something. I don't know, because like it's gold, right? So I don't know what's at play here. This could turn out to be something interesting, but it's not enough for me to be like, oh yeah, I got to check out the next one. I like I said, I have a pre-order already, so I'm already locked in for the first few, but otherwise, I don't know. Like if you don't have the second one ordered, either.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look to see if I ordered the second one. I probably did, just because the first three are in the bag because you have to pre-order them for so far out.
Right. So I don't know. So what would you give this then?
It's 3.25.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, verging on 3.5 area, but I think 3.5 would be more if I really enjoyed this, when this was just like, so, I would say. So, yeah, I'm with you. 3.25 out of 5 for this one. Yeah, which, I'm disappointed. I really want to like a Wolverine book, man. Like, he's one of my favorite characters. You guys got to bring me something interesting here. So, anyways, Uncanny X-Men #2.
Yeah, this one sort of surprised me. I kind of enjoyed this one, I think. But once again, I didn't buy it. I just read this one online. I wasn't too thrilled about all these new mutants and sort of what's going on. But I guess they have this backstory of what Charles Xavier's personal journals or something, and I guess he's meeting his first love. It seems like that he's talking about here.
Yeah.
But just all the dialogue there between the what's that, Rogue, Gambit, and Wolverine with these new kids there. I guess they kind of take them for a bit of a tussle, and it looks like those new kids sort of take the upper hand in the beginning, but then our heroes, do their thing and kind of shut them down. And then I guess the big reveal here, spoiler, is that Jubilee comes there to be the voice of reason and kind of gets everybody back on track. So it's nice seeing these new characters, kind of see what they do, who they are, but they're still not super interesting. I think I might want to try and buy this issue just because they have these new characters, and who knows what they might be. More of a speculation, but I don't think I'll go that hard to try and find it.
Right. I'm not 100% in on this book either, but it has a lot of potential. So yeah, I agree with you. Like, even like
I enjoyed it better than the first issue, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said the same thing about the first issue, where I'm like, there's a lot going on in this book. I'm not like clicking with everything as of yet. There is like 4 storylines going on. There's like she has a lot of balls up in the air early though in this book. I will say that. So at least she's trying to do something. You never really spend too much time with any, like you said, you got the journal entries, flashback stuff throughout this. You got the stuff that's going on with this company, whatever, the people that have snuck into their old base, Xavier School there, and stole somebody. You got the team stuff happening with the young mutants. You got them talking to Cyclops on the phone.
Yeah, and they don't seem to be getting along very well either. So that's interesting.
Yeah, so that this has a lot of potential, this book. I'm not, again, 100% in as of yet, but I will be continuing with this book for now. The art is great by David Marquez. Yeah. I think the art's fantastic in this book. And I like the cast of characters. So it actually has a lot of things going for it. So I hope that this book will grow on me. Gail Simone, the writer who's writing this, I haven't loved a lot of what she's done, but she's written a few things I've enjoyed. So yeah, I'm kind of like 50-50 with her, whether or not I like a book that she does usually. But this so far so good. I think I think I'm much more positive about this one than some of the other X books right now that we've talked about. So yeah, and then there's a creature that's collecting all of these mutants that they show at the end of this issue that's I guess that those people that went sneaking
Yeah,
around.
some hang witch or something.
Yeah, whatever that is. But anyway, so what'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.5 though. I like this one.
Same. Yeah, 3.5 out of 5. But again, a lot of potential. So I hope that, better things come of this book. Next up, we got DC versus Vampires World War V #2, which I just realized my copy, I don't think came in last week. I think I'm due to grab this one. But what'd you think of this, Chris?
Yeah, I've enjoyed the DC versus Vampire story. There's a lot going on here. It's almost giving me shades of Dark Knights of Steel, but just vampires now, because now you kind of have the humans, and they're almost kind of broke up into separate groups, and the vampires, there's some infighting going on. And I enjoy the story, but I don't think this is anything groundbreaking. But there is some wacky stuff happening. So I'm down for this, and I've always enjoyed this DC versus vampires.
Yeah, this is a real fun series, but I think like this issue after the first issue, which I thought was really good, this kind of just felt like it towed the line a little bit, to be honest with you. Not too much happened in this one. I think there was not too much more development of the storyline here, but it's building. I mean, but this is only a 6-issue series, and I think that we're going to probably continue to get installments in this world of the DC versus vampires as long as it's popular. And I like what they're selling us. I like some of the stuff that's happening, and I like some of the characters, and the art's always good. I do like spending time in this world and in this story, but if I'm going to compare this to, even the first issue, let's say, of this relaunch back, this one I felt like just continued. It just moved along a little bit. It wasn't a spectacular issue by any means. But yeah, some interesting scenes here. The Wonder Woman showing up there, that was pretty cool. I did like that scene.
She's looking good in here, and looks like she's going to be a player in this series. So I'm happy about that. And what do you have, Alfred? He gets the ring here.
Yeah, which is pretty fun. Yeah, that was really good. What'd you give this?
I'll just give this 3.5 though too. I enjoyed the comic, but
yeah, no, it was that kind of week with a few of them for me this week. 3.5 out of 5. Yeah,
I think there's a lot of them, but like it's good stuff, but nothing. Wow, at least a few of them weren't spectacular.
Right. Next up, we have Geiger #6, Chris.
Yeah, I kind of just read I haven't been reading this online, and we're guys following the adventures there of Geiger in the outback or the wasteland, wherever he is. I guess they just finished up with that electrocutioner guy and their dog. What's his name? Barney or something?
I forgot his name.
Yeah, well, either way, the two-headed dog there, he seems to be out of sorts after their last battle.
Yeah.
And kind of, during the night he wanders off or gets kind of drawn away. And, I guess they were all concerned that maybe the dog has lost its bite or the fight in the dog. And somehow, I guess you got to believe in comics, they never ran across this zoo that can't be too far from where they are. That has some poachers in there trying to just kill all the animals, and all the animals seem to be hiding from the poachers. And the dog shows up there, and I guess there's some gorilla that is smarter than your average ape, let's say. And he kind of the dog inspires them to fight back. It doesn't sound like a good comic or a great comic, but I thought it was some good stuff in there. It's not a wordy comic. There's a lot of stuff drawn in there, and just some of the visuals of that dog kind of started being like curious or ready to attack. I thought it was decent stuff. Once again, nothing groundbreaking, but a good solid issue.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's always some good world building going on in this story. Nice character moments. This was kind of like a, kind of a breather issue, let's say, from like the events of the last couple of issues, where there's been a lot of big things that have happened to the characters, and a lot of, tragedy that had followed the events of the last couple of issues. Let's say some deaths that happened, and some, even in this one, I mean, even this one's kind of brutal too, because the dog does have another close call here, and definitely has
you get some flashbacks of electricity.
Yeah, but he ends up coming out on top and making a lot of animal friends in the process. He had some great art in this issue. I think Gary Frank is just killing it on this series again, even to draw all these animals. He did a great job of that. So we got to point that out as well. I think he did some good renditions of the animals in this, even though they're all like, mutant ones. And then you have like a pretty great end to the issue where he comes and joins one of the other animals, the zebra, comes and joins them, and now the guy's got his steed, essentially the guy that's with them, the round table dude, the knight, essentially, that guy. He's got his he's like, oh, can we keep him? And Geiger's not really about it, but then the dog is like whimpering.
Yeah, you see that he's a softie at the end.
Yeah, no, it's good. It was good. It was a good moment. What'd you give this?
Yeah. I'd give this 3.75.
Same. Yeah, good stuff. Geiger's a good series, guys. Check it out. Next up, Chris, you got Avengers Assemble #1. But apologies, no art on this one, but go ahead.
Yeah, I just kind of read this as a flyer online. Again, I didn't buy this, but this is what the Avengers should have been. Really, I think now that the A team, let's say, has been occupied, or they're occupied with whatever business, you got starts out with Steve Rogers in the Avengers Mansion, and he's kind of bringing up a B group, and it turns out to be, who was it? I think it was Wasp, Photon, and Shang-Chi. They're turned out to the B group, and there was some sort of disturbance out in Germany that they had to go deal with. And as they went out to deal with it, as soon as they go out, then there's another team that gets brought in. So they always want to have a team sort of in the Avengers Mansion, kind of just waiting to get ready. So as they're out there, I think they're dealing with Red Skull's daughter. She finds some helm of hate or something like that. So she's turning this big town into, everybody just starts to hate each other and start fighting amongst themselves. And the Avengers come in there and try and stop her. And while they're doing that, Hawkeye's putting together another team at Avengers Mansion. So it was always good seeing a whole bunch of other characters come in. I think you get Hercules in that team. Power Man shows up, She-Hulk, and bring it out of the blue. They bring one of the kids from the Power Pack in there.
Yeah,
she's
right.
She's I think a college student now, and then they're all sort of playing cards, just kind of holding down the fort. So it's fun just seeing all those people talk. And then the adventure that Steve, or whatever, Captain America and his crew are at, they're fighting this hate monster, and she kind of gets them to doubt themselves, or kind of argue amongst themselves, but they come out on top, and they got to do their thing to beat her. And then there's another story going on about the Serpent Society. So they're underground trying to set up all these distractions to, to get some serpent's blood tears. And then at the end, Mephisto's part of the story. Like, this is one that I wish I did pick up. Once Mephisto's involved in there, it's all good stuff. And I thought
I love me some
a lot better than I thought. This is what the Avengers comic should have been. And they could have called whatever they're doing with the Avengers team they have now, call that Avengers Assemble, and they can use them to to further their crossover events, and leave the Avengers alone. And I'd give this now that I talk about, I'd give it a 3.75. I was just going to give it a 3.5, but just having Power Man or Wonder Man come back, Hercules, they're all playing cards, all this good stuff.
That sounds like fun. I love me some Serpent Society too. As soon as you said Serpent Society, I was like,
yeah. I was like, they all think they're all powerful, but they're also a bunch of knuckleheads too,
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, next up they got Blood Hunters #2, Chris.
Yeah, I don't know why I even read this one. I wasn't too thrilled with the first one. And once again, you're still using these villains from what's that, the Blood Hunter gang or whatever. I don't know how they were such a threat now. And now you got these 4 people trying to take them out. But either way, I think they start out with, they're trying to, or Elsa Bloodstone is trying to kill what's Miles Morales, because he's a vampire now. And, they're trying to say, hey, take it easy. And they kind of fight amongst each other to get Miles Morales to take off. And then I think she splits out, but, whatever. The White Widow, she goes, oh, I got a tracker on her. And that's maybe one of the best lines in there, is that, oh, you put a tracker on her. Do you have a tracker on us too? And she's like, yeah, I do. And, and she kind of smirks and says, you better not try and find out where I put it. So that was kind of one of the good lines. But then anyways, Elsa Bloodstone gets in trouble. These, I forget even what this vampire coven, I think they were called the Coven. They go after Elsa Bloodstone. They kind of knock her around a little bit. And of course, who comes up to save her? It's Miles Morales. So I guess she think twice about not killing him. And there's some sort of cat too that comes out of nowhere. It's like a vampire cat that they befriend. But yeah, I don't know. This just doesn't track for me.
Also, Blood Hunt is over.
Yeah, it's like I don't know why they for this Blood Hunt, why they left everybody that were vampires as vampires. Like, what is it, just so they can have this stupid comic running through? It's baloney.
I like the cast of characters in this at the very least. I mean, I didn't read this, but I like all the people, all the players. It seems like at least. But anyways, what did you give this?
Yeah, so I got to give this 3.25.
Okay. And then next up, you got Scorch 33.
Yeah, I've been kind of picking up this one, and I've had a few issues that I haven't read, but this one was just sitting out there, so I gave it a quick read. And this basically, there's a she-haunt in there. I don't know what they call her, a haunt, but it's a girl haunt, I guess, or a lady haunt. And they just kind of go through her history here and kind of figure out what she was doing. It turns out she used to be a nurse. They think they got her dead on the table, and as they're dissecting her, I guess they're going through her, she's reliving her memories there. She used to be a nurse, and then she kind of just killed all the bad people. This is before that she had any sort of powers, and I guess she killed one guy, and then the haunt ghost came out and took her over. And, then she went from a place of, just killing bad people, just killing people in general, because I guess the haunt spirit, is just addicted to the thrill of the kill. And then it shows Spawn putting her down, and then this agency came and took her, and that's how she got captured. And it turns out, even though it looks like she was dead, they're dissecting her, she wasn't, and they put her back into the whatever those tubes with the goo inside. See where things go from there. So it's a good one and done issue, and like I say, with these Scorching, I never complain about the art; it's always good, and I'd give it a 3.5.
Okay. Next up, I got a few here that I read digitally this week. Dead Eyes, Empty Frames, #1. This is the return of a miniseries that Jerry Duggan wrote like a few years ago now. Originally, it was called something else. The first, some sort of rights issue about the name of the book, and then they had to switch the name to Dead Eyes. So, like, there was like a first printing, I guess, of the first issue where it was called something else. I forgot. Something Rabbit. I don't know if it was Dead Rabbits. I forgot. Anyways, it doesn't matter. This guy, basically, this is a heist comic, essentially. There's this thief who basically has this getup, this mask that has like X in his eyes, hence the Dead Eyes name. And I don't remember what happened in the last miniseries. I have the trade paperback of it. I own it. I liked it enough to pick it up. I think I picked up the first issue, and then I was like, okay, I'm just going to wait for the trade. And then I think they had plans for this to be an ongoing, but then they just did a 4 or 5 issue run, and then it went away. So I thought that was it. So anyways, they've come back now, the same artist, John McCrae and Jerry Duggan. Since then, Jerry Duggan has written a lot of great things that we've really, we've both talked about some of the stuff we've enjoyed by him on the show. So I was like, yeah, I'll check this out. If it's good, I'll read it digitally. I'll pick up the trade again on this one. And it was good so far. Basically, in this, it talks about it's one of those, like, I got, one big heist type planned, for my career here. And in this one, it's basically somebody had stolen a bunch of art from the museum. And the way that they stole the art, it was like some like shitty amateurish way where they they took box cutters and like cut the art out of all of the frames. So they didn't even bother because, to get the frame off the wall, there's like a whole security system. This was easier. They literally just broke the glass and cut all the art out of the frames. These two people that ended up robbing this museum at the start of this. So then I guess this Dead Eyes found out about, he thinks he knows, he's going to find out who the people are that stole this art and bring it back to the museum and get them to pay him. Essentially, he's also a thief, but he's kind of trying to pull off this move now where he's going to retrieve this art for them and get paid for it. So by the end of this issue, it kind of shows you all the players involved and kind of sets all this up in motion. And you see that he has some other issues in his own personal life that are, may be an issue for him, let's say, during this like heist. So we'll see how it all plays out. But I did like it. I do like, if you like heist movies, like an Ocean's 11 type of thing, this isn't exactly that in tone, but it's definitely in that same vein of like, if you do like a good heist thing with maybe some, interesting characters involved. And I think this is definitely something worth checking out. And I am a fan of Jerry Duggan. So I give this a 3.5 out of 5 this week, and I'm looking forward to the next issue though. Next up, Prodigy Slaves of Mars #2. Now, I didn't talk about the first issue of this on the show. I didn't even realize this came out. I missed this one, the first issue when it came out. This is a Mark Millar book. And I've read his first 2 miniseries that he did of this character, Prodigy, and he was actually in Big Game as well, this guy. He's basically like a James Bond-esque character who's like super smart. Like in the first miniseries where Mark Millar introduced this character, his whole thing throughout the whole story was like trying to see if he can continue to figure every scenario out that he came across. Like whatever was thrown at him, he had to outsmart this scenario or the situation or the bad guy. And he's just like, he's like the smartest person on earth, essentially, this character. And in this one, it talks about his father had just died, and you learn more about his actual past in this story, more so than you learned in the first 2 miniseries. His father just died. He wasn't close with his father. His father was also a very smart person. Apparently, everybody in his family is. And you also get introduced to his brother in the first issue. And so in the second issue, it's him and his brother now essentially teaming up and trying to find out like what had happened to their father, essentially. If something, a foul had happened with his, something bad happened with his death, if it was purposeful or whatnot. And he worked for secret organ, like a CIA or something like that. And like, there's all this shit about like the actual Martians and the what was really going on in Mars and what his father was working for the government and all these secrets that they had. So there's all these things that are being uncovered in this issue about not only his father's past, but, and again, it's like him and his brother reuniting. So you're learning a lot about Prodigy as a character, which I felt like he was kind of like a blank slate in the first couple of miniseries. You didn't really know too much about him. In this one, you learn quite a bit about him. They talk about him coming back from this whole Big Game event, essentially at the start of this series. And he's been gone for like a year, and now he's trying to pick up the pieces of like the life he left behind, essentially, and dealing with his father's death and everything else he was involved with. This is actually really well written. I think for Mark Millar, this is actually one of the more well written things he's done. And I thought the art was fine. I look forward to the next issue. This is pretty good. I mean, if you're a fan of Mark Millar, even if you're not as big of a fan of Mark Millar, he's coming at this book with something different than some of his other books. I feel like this is written a little differently. He really has to, I guess, up his game to write these characters and some of the intelligent, like really smart ideas he has in this book, as opposed to, big dumb nemesis action, right? So, which, I like too, don't get me wrong, but this character is a smart character, and it feels like he's kind of raising the bar in terms of like some of the ideas and storylines happening in this story. So I would say, you know what, I'll give this 3.75 out of 5 this week. It was pretty good and unexpected. And then next up, Vengeance of the Moon Knight #9. This is the last issue of this series in between the next relaunch of Jed MacKay's Moon Knight. So the first Moon Knight series was 25 issues by Jed MacKay. He does another 9 with this series, which was the in-between thing where he died and basically got resurrected by the end of this. Of course, you can see how that happened if you read Blood Hunt, also by Jed MacKay. And yeah, in this issue, again, the last couple of issues since Blood Hunt ended, they've really just showed him taking back the mantle of Moon Knight. And in this one, he takes out the guy that was acting in his place during this period of time, and he takes back the mantle. That's exactly what happened. The last couple of issues, we've been dealing with him now that he was resurrected. Oh, he's back. What's he going to do now? And in this one, at the end of the last issue, Khonshu basically said you have to kill the false, fist of the false fist, essentially the guy who's been trying to run around acting like your Moon Knight. He's not a disciple of mine. You have to kill him for me. And in this, he actually does something where he dies for a few seconds, technically, and then he revives him and brings him back to life, right? So he actually chokes him out. and then he revives him in this. So in a way, he cheats death. He makes him cheat death by saying to Khonshu, "Oh, look, I did kill him. You never told me I can bring him back to life and save him." And he's just like, and then Khonshu is just like, you think you outsmarted me, do you? Right? Like he's really,
You crazy kids, I'll get you.
yeah, he's really pissed off by this, but he's like, what are you gonna do, bud? Like, I'm Moon Knight. He's like, what are you gonna do? I'm back. Right. He's like, I'll do your bidding, but not the way you want it, right? The way I want to do things. So I thought that was actually kind of clever. It's been done before, but I didn't expect it in this. I just thought he just straight up killed him at first in this. And he went to the bar with no name where all the criminals hang out, and he kind of posted his body up, or sorry, his cloak. He pinned it up against the wall to kind of like, scare all the criminals in the city, be like, I'm back. That false Moon Knight is done. You know what I mean? So I kind of liked that. It was very, it was a good moment, honestly. So yeah, it was great stuff. So by the end of this, I was kind of happy to see Moon Knight, Mark Spector back in action, and looking forward to the relaunched series of his ongoing run. And honestly, this is a long running series for Jed MacKay. He's doing even more issues of this than Doctor Strange at this point. He's going into almost 40 issues with Moon Knight now. So yeah, this is a good run so far. I'm liking it. So I give this a 3.75 out of 5 this week. Good stuff. All right, Chris, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #2. And this is the Michelangelo issue here. What'd you think of this?
Yeah, I think this might be another comic that I sort of missed out on. Like, I don't think these are going to be, speculators' dreams or anything, but they're good, solid issues here. And I guess you got Michelangelo. He turns out to be a movie star, or he's used his ninja skills to become an action hero. It kind of reminds me, they're singing that theme song in the beginning.
Yeah.
Reminds me of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, I guess, with what's that, Vanilla Ice? Did he write a theme for him?
Yeah, Ninja Rap.
That's it. And then I guess, he's just, he's feeling the loneliness of, missing all his brothers there. He's kind of chilling out at home, eating some pizza. And I guess it's the hand. The hand is the one that's in, or is it the Foot Clan here?
Foot Clan. Yeah.
So the Foot Clan comes. It's the Foot that's after him here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they kind of storm his apartment, and I think they drugged his pizza, and they start getting the upper hand on him. He's having some visions where it looks like the other turtles are turning on him, or disappointed in him. And I thought that was real too when I was reading it, that maybe they're coming in because you don't know what's going on in this story. But he kind of gets his head together again and starts taking care of business. But you do find out that one of the turtles do show up, and it sounds like he was trying to get to Michelangelo before the Foot Clan did. And he's still groggy, I guess, a little bit from the drugs there, and he kind of fights with him. And whoever's kind of hiring the Foot Clan to get rid of these turtles looks like they mean business, because they're just they're turning up the heat on him. It's like they're sending in the reinforcements because now there's 2 of them there, and I guess we'll see where things go.
I could see some Turtle fans really hating on this series so far, because each issue where he's been introducing another turtle, where they've all been separated by something that had happened, which we're kind of getting this story unfold with, amongst each character, each issue, and as it's coming together. But like, it's such a diversion, like it's like from like what the turtles normally are, what you expect of them. Because in this one, Michelangelo has kind of left it all behind, and he's doing his Hollywood thing, which I thought was an interesting and fun angle. And then in the first issue of Raphael, he was in prison. So it's like these weird like stories you don't expect, or angles that you wouldn't expect of these characters. But I actually think that's what's been great about it so far, is that it is such a different turtle story that's unfolding. But at the end of the day, they are still the turtles. The trouble still comes knocking at their door. The story is unfolding here. And it's like, Michelangelo can't leave his past behind. It's like one of those type of stories in here. Like he is still a Ninja Turtle, right? So like,
I like seeing him without his bandana on too. That was funny. I don't know if they ever do that before, but first time I've seen it without his bandana on. I thought it was funny to see him that way.
Yeah. No, it's just I'm really enjoying it so far too. But it is definitely a different type of story they're telling. But I think that's a good thing. And I think the plan is he's had a different artist on each issue, I guess, introducing each turtle. And then I guess by the time this arc is done, they should all be back together again. And that's the way that it's unfolding so far anyways. Raph shows up by the end of this here to fight him, and I kind of like this whole thing too, that he had like these diamond encrusted like
Yeah.
nunchucks there, which he was whipping their ass with it here at the end. And yeah, good stuff. Raphael Albuquerque was the artist on this one, who I'm a big fan of his stuff. So yeah, it was great to see. What'd you give this?
Yeah, I enjoyed this comic. I'd give it a 3.5.
I'll give this a 4 out of 5. I quite enjoyed this one. Next up, you got Transformers number 12, Chris.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe I didn't order the issue or it just didn't get thrown into my pull list, but this is the end of the arc, I believe.
Yeah.
And I guess what Optimus Prime has some sort of big decision here, whether to save Earth or save Cybertron, I guess. I'm not sure how they beat this. Who's the big bad here? This, not Shockwave or something, right? Is that the one that turns into a gun?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so I guess they have their big final battle. You know, they have a good battle with the Constructicons or a Vindicator or whatever whatever it is it's called when they go fight back together. And I think they're trying to blow up the whatever's drawing in Cybertron. I forget what they call it. Some like the Energon Harvester. And who's that? Alita or something?
Yeah.
She's the one that came from Cybertron. And I think she almost kind of pulls a swerve on here. She's trying to lure, I guess, Optimus Prime to stay on Cybertron.
Yeah.
And, even just keep that Energon sucker upper, keep it going just to save Cybertron. And I guess that's where Optimus Prime has to make a big decision. And I guess he has to blast her or whatever. And he decides to save Earth. And, he's falling there and they think he's going to burn up in the atmosphere. He got that beachcomber. He comes out with a surfboard and saves him up. So it's a lot of good beats. It's a good way to end an arc. But they do something here because, Optimus Prime is almost like that Peter Parker. What have I done? And he kind of leave you on that cliffhanger. It's something big has happened still.
Yeah, I agree with you. The biggest takeaway from that, what you said there, that I also felt was that this was a good big moment to end this arc on, honestly. And like Optimus, they want him to choose between the humans and Earth, and his love for Earth now, and Cybertron, and in doing so, he ruined whatever chance Cybertron had. It seemed like of thriving there at the end here. There's a lot of destruction, and there's a lot of people that got taken out in this issue. And there's like some great Optimus moments where like he gets called to action with the gun and everything else.
Oh, yeah, doesn't he blast somebody? Wasn't that Shockwave holding somebody hostage?
Yeah.
And before the guy even finishes the threat, boom, he just blasts his arm right off.
He's not fucking around in this one.
No.
Yeah, which, that's always to me, like, the thing about Optimus is like he's always the guy that tries to make it work till he can't anymore, and then he just he'll just he'll step up because he's like, I am the leader of these guys, and guess what, I have to step up once in a while, and that's when that's when Optimus, like, he shows how badass he is, right? But he's always like it's almost like a pacifist most of the time. And then like whenever shit hits the fan, he just, he'll just take something.
Yeah, I got to show you why I'm the Prime.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, it was a good end to this arc. Honestly, it actually made me look forward to the next issue and like, what's going to come with it, because Daniel Warren Johnson is going to continue to write it.
I hear this might be the artist's last issue, though. There's going to be a new artist for the next round, for the next arc.
It is a new artist, yeah. So we've had a different artist every arc now, right? So it's fine. Yeah, I mean, this artist was fine. I think following up Daniel Warren Johnson was an easy task, and I think they did a good job. But I'm looking forward to see what happens next. What'd you give this?
I'll give this 3.75.
Same, yeah, 3.75 this week out of 5. All right, next up, Batman Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age, number 4, Chris.
Yeah, I dropped this one.
Same.
And not that this is bad, but holy smokes, this is wordy.
Yeah.
A lot of those, and this one, especially with Lois Lane, a lot of just that old-timey speak from whatever time frame they're supposed to be here. It seems that whoever wrote this just has a love for this language or something and is just trying to show it off the whole time. I think it's got Lex Luthor. I don't know if he's been involved in the story too much there. You guess you find out he's some sort of magnate. And is that Victor Stone that he's?
Yes, yeah, it was a
And
Cyborg.
that's Cyborg's father, right? Or is that Cyborg himself?
No, it was Cyborg's father, I believe.
Yeah. So I guess that's kind of interesting, and it looks like Wonder Woman's on her way to New York, and but still, this isn't capturing my attention. I think there's a ring involved. There's a Green Lantern ring involved somewhere here. I forget who puts it on or something, but yeah, I'll
Yeah,
pass.
same. I dropped this issue. I'm not upset that I dropped it with this issue. This is a little too ambitious, this story, honestly. Like, I know it's like a 12-issue story, but there's too much going on. Not enough focus. We barely get Batman in this series, even though it takes place by Gotham. But I know you want to like grow the world and its characters and show all the different versions of these characters, but like we're 4 issues in. I barely feel like we scratched the surface on Batman or Superman. It's
Yeah.
called the Kryptonian Age, and we spent more time on Wonder Woman and like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I spend more time in freaking Antarctica, and this is what Gotham by Gaslight, not freaking snow in Antarctica.
yeah, it's very weird. I don't know what's happening there, but anyways, I dropped it, so whatever. Yeah, and all of a sudden you're in the darkness now.
I know, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just look at that and go, what
Not
happened there?
used to it getting dark when we record anymore now, so we'll have to adjust for the next one. No worries.
I don't know.
What'd you give this one?
Maybe this. It deserves better. Like it is a well-written story, but I just don't like it. It's 3.25 for me.
I agree. It's not bad. It's just I'm not interested in it like you, so I'm also going to stick with 3.25 out of 5 for this one. All right, next up, Fantastic Four number 25. It's a weird one, man.
Once you get rid of the weirdness, it is a weird one, but
it's good.
I didn't mind. Like, I like the way that starts out with, at least, it keeps you kind of what's going on in the world. I've got Doctor Doom has put that, whatever, the shield over his kingdom, and, they're just kind of testing it out. I still don't know how it happens, but, they hit the shield and they get transferred to some strange land. And it's a wacky place there. It's filled with these sort of worm characters. And as they, as they learn to communicate, they end up being stuck there for a while. And it seems that Johnny Storm has, well, there you go, right there. There's his new love of his love of his life there, the worm lady. I forget what her name was, but yeah, I know that's just wacky. And I guess at the end there's a big decision. It's like in order for one world they find out that where they ended up going on was Earth. It's almost like Planet of the Apes. Oh, what happened? This is Earth here, and you find out there's some big event in the past, or I guess when the moon split up, so there'd be no moon, and this is what Earth would have happened. And then Reed's got to decide, in order for one Earth to survive, one has to be destroyed almost or not exist. And they have that sort of dilemma there, and I guess Johnny has to pay the price with his love. I guess Reed comes up with some crazy multiversal solution where they can have both worlds survive, but they'll never be able to cross paths again, which is basically just destroying one world anyway. So who knows? Maybe this could be the Reed Richards Doctor Doom guy going, yeah, all right, I'll just tell him it's going to multiversal. I want my world back.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Ryan North, the writer of this, he just gets these characters, and this isn't the first time that Johnny's gone off and banged an alien. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It tracks. It is the Fantastic Four. They do travel to different worlds and different creatures and everything else. It is just weird to see him with like this bug-like alien thing that he's fallen in love with. So it was a bit strange, but at the same time, not really, because there's been they've alluded to in other stories and straight up have said like that he's been with other aliens before. So like, there's the Skrull that he was in love with.
Yeah, wasn't there that Reckoning? Didn't he have like some
like
alien girlfriend or something?
Yeah. So like these things have happened before, right? So it's not like we should think it's weird or anything, but it's just funny. It did give me pause for a second. I'm like, what the hell? What's going on with this? Right? And then I'm like, no, he's been with lots of aliens before. It's just like, this is just again, I don't know. This is a weird bug looking one. So it looks like a millipede or something. I'm like, why would you want to have sex with that thing? I don't know.
Very big Doctor Who vibes in this issue.
Yeah, for sure. But listen, he gets the characters. He knows, like, it all tracks. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good issue. And yeah, I like this series a lot. It's good stuff. What'd you give this?
I was giving it a 3.5, but I am looking forward to, like, if the Fantastic Four are really going to be sort of the big heroes against this Doom storyline that's coming up.
I'm sure they're going to be in the mix. They're going to be in
I know they're going to be in the mix, but it'll be good to see that go on again.
Yeah, I give us 3.75 out of 5. All right, next up, we got Venom number 37, Chris.
I got my issue here.
Yep.
But yeah, like, I've been enjoying this tie-in here. I think this one here, you have Dylan Brock, or Old Man Dylan. He goes into the past. He has a bit of a run-in with Spider-Man there, and sort of alludes to that these guys might be friends at one point, or even allies. And I guess this old man Dylan, he's actually here to go to the Sanctum Sanctorum to meet up with Doctor Strange. And of course, when they first meet, Doctor Strange, he does all his voodoo stuff to get the symbiote under control. And then you do find out that it's actually Doctor Strange that sent Dylan back into the past to find him. And, he's all this sort of stuff. When they go through the history of what happened, it's kind of interesting, they're in that dystopian world where I think pretty much everything's at, as worse as it can be. And that's why Doctor Strange told him that he has to go to the past and find him and help him, change these few events so future events don't happen. And I don't know, they go to some crazy world, or with Doctor Strange, they go back to, I don't know where they go, but it's not the greatest, but it's not the worst. It's still good Venom tie-in to see what's happening here. And the cast of characters, can't go wrong with that either.
Yeah, my boy Doctor Strange is in this, so I'm gonna enjoy it just based off of that. But otherwise, it was just a fine. It was an okay issue, let's say. But I did enjoy seeing him having to go to visit Doctor Strange, get him up in the mix. So I always enjoy that. So for that alone, I thought it was, it was fun. But otherwise, yeah, it was just a mediocre issue, I'll say.
Yeah, there's a lot of hype in this. You think there's Spider-Man fighting Venom and all this stuff, but none of that's really true. Yeah. And it's more just, like you say, it's just more of Dylan, trying to meet up with Doctor Strange to figure things out. They put all this other stuff to make it a little bit more interesting. I thought it's just more fluff than anything. I give it a 3.5.
Yeah, same. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. 3.5 out of 5. All right, next up, we got Venom War, Wolverine number 1, Chris.
This is another comic. I got this one here. Great covers, though.
Yeah.
That's just the A cover here. I don't know if you can see it too well. But anytime Venom or Wolverine's messing around with a symbiote, it's always a great cover. I think who's the writer here? That Tony Fleecs and Tim Seeley or something.
Yeah.
They seem to be working together a lot now. I've enjoyed a lot of stuff they've done. But I think when they came here to Marvel, they had their hands, they had the handcuffs on and go, this is a story you got to write. You kind of get some hints of their sort of storytelling style. You're kind of, I don't want to say out in the wilderness, but you're away from everything. I think I don't know where he is here, but he's sort of isolated, let's say, and a symbiote, gets into him, and I guess his healing factor ends up fighting off the symbiote. And of course, there's some backstory of some lady he helped, and she has an abusive husband, and this abusive husband is now infected with the symbiote or the zombiotes, and it's gone to the graveyard and reanimated all the zombies or all the corpses, and Wolverine's stuck in a house, and it looks like he's gonna have to put up or shut up after this. I don't think he's gonna shut up, so he's putting up.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy this that much.
Yeah.
I wish
I wanted to.
Yeah, you know what? Like you said, like Tony Fleecs to Tim Seeley, they've been around a long time. They've done a bunch of things, but I feel like because this is like a work for hire gig for Marvel, as opposed to like their creator-owned series, Local Man, which we're both big fans of, this kind of felt like they phoned it in on some of the dialogue. Some of the dialogue sucked in this issue. Like I like Kev Walker too, the artist. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea. I don't mind him, but even some of the stuff he did in this issue, I didn't feel was his strongest work. So I don't know. I just felt like very underwhelmed by this one. I was really excited for this, and I was like, I was like, yeah, you know what, Wolverine. That's always usually a good tie-in. We literally just talked about the Blood Hunt Wolverine tie-in, where they brought in some people that never really worked on the character, which I thought was a hell of a lot of fun. Not the same with this one so far. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know if they can save it in the next one, but this first issue was not good.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm all in on this one,
Yeah.
and at least get some good covers out of it.
Yeah. And you know what? It might just be the first one out the gate. They just are getting their, trying to find their
Yeah.
footing. You never know, right? They can get it right on the next one. But this first one, I just thought it was not well written for whatever reason. Like the
Yeah.
setup and everything was fine of the story. It was like a lot of the dialogue I just thought was very shitty in this. So like I don't know what was happening there. But yeah, we'll see. It's almost like an editor didn't fucking do a passover of it or something. Like,
Well,
what I mean?
they put in the thing in the edit. Okay, you can't say that. You can't say that. You can't do this. You can't do that.
That
And
too.
that's it.
That too, because they could be used to doing their creator-owned books at this point and be
Yeah.
like, yeah, hey, you want to write Wolverine? Then sorry, like you got to write it this way, right? So yeah, I don't know. Who's to say? I just think like it's just not a good representation of what these guys can do. Like Local Man's a great book, right? So what'd you give this?
Sorry to say 3.25. Wolverine has not been hitting his stride here.
I mean, I'm giving this a 3. That's I didn't like this one. Next up, we got Spider-Man Reign number 2. Sorry, Spider-Man Reign 2 number 3. There we go.
Yeah, let the craziness continue.
Yeah.
Oof. I don't know what they're doing in this story here. It almost feels to me like Spider-Man's the villain in this story. The way things are going here, they're trying to explain more of this world. You got Peter Parker stuck in this loop. Got Mary Jane there looking great. Saying, "Oh, I love you always," and then he wakes up. I don't know in the past or something, and then Mary Jane is the Venom, and then she's dropping freaking bombs on him. Like, this ain't the first time you come back here. You gotta stop coming back here doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
And the stuff here where whatever they said, this takes place at like 299 or something. I don't know how that tracks in there, but maybe this is sort of an alternate world there where Venom pretty much saves Mary Jane. She thinks that it was Peter, and then it seems that this old man or a previous old man Spider-Man came back and killed Peter Parker to make it look like a suicide. And he seems to be coming back here all the time. And each time he comes back, he's causing more problems. And now this Venomized Mary Jane, she's put together a group and basically is like, boys, if anybody shows up here to mess with us, this is what we got to do. We got to take them down. And then she does. And then freaking Miles Morales comes in to save him somewhere. I don't know what's going on here, but it's craziness and I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. And I don't know why I didn't really notice it. I feel like the first 2 issues, I may not have mentioned this, but this is such a fucking nod to McFarlane. The art that he's doing in this, Carrie Andrews, like especially with Mary Jane, this looks so much like the McFarlane Spider-Man era. Like it's great. It's great stuff without being like a rip. Like it's almost like an homage, almost.
Yeah.
But still in his own style, like weird style, Carrie Andrews, and which he's got a few of. But like just the way that certain things are drawn, the webbing, Venom, Mary Jane, like Brock in this, like it looks like the McFarlane era of Spider-Man when he was drawing the book. And I love that. I love that look. And I love the way that the characters are in this. And like you said, it's batshit crazy. And like there's another element that they introduced in this one, like you said, like it's almost like he doesn't remember this, and he had killed himself, and this other version of himself, or made it look like he killed himself. I don't know. It wasn't 100%.
Yeah, like he's trying to kill himself because he ends up killing Mary Jane. So
right.
He thinks he's saving her by killing him. I don't know. It's just crazy.
So there's all these different versions she's saying of Spider-Man that keep coming back from the future, and she's kind of over it at this point, and he keeps trying to rewrite history, and it's not working. And they're like, why didn't you just stay in that cryo sleep thing that we had yet? Like, and yeah, it's like a tragedy. Like, and like, this is way better than the first Spider-Man Reign. For anybody that didn't like this first Spider-Man I'm one of them. I thought it was just fine. I didn't think it was that great. This is great. This story so far compared to that. Yeah, yeah. And the art. Look at the art. Like the art's great
Yeah.
in this book. Yeah, it's just crazy, batshit fucking crazy, and it's all the better for it. Good stuff. I didn't ever expected to enjoy this book as much as we have been. I honestly, for me, it came out of nowhere. I got it because I like Carrie Andrews a lot, but I didn't like the first series of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
This is something else. This one, so and I don't think it's required reading. You had to read the first one. Honestly, it's so
No.
crazy. You
Yeah.
don't need to have read the first one. All you have to understand
Oh,
is
yeah, he's old. That's all you got to
yeah,
understand. He's old in a fucked
yeah,
up world.
yeah. Although is it's 4 issues or 5 issues? How many
I,
issues?
I hope it's more, but I don't know.
I think it's 5. It must be. I don't think the next issue is the last one. I hope not. But yeah, it doesn't say, it says next. It doesn't say the next the end or
Yeah.
anything like that. Normally it's like instead of to be continued, it's like yeah, to conclude or whatever. So what'd you give this?
Yeah, it's give this 4.25 easy. Even
Yeah,
more.
I was thinking of 4, but I'd probably give it 4.25 based off the art as well. I gotta give that a but. Again, I'm just so happy that he kind of went with like the look of the McFarlane era Spider-Man, and I don't know
Yeah,
if
he didn't hold back on this. I think this is where you can see where they gave an artist free reign to do what he wanted.
No, this is wholly like this is absolutely like his interesting style. This is not
Yeah.
him trying to ape like his
No, but like
style.
story wise, everything. It's not like okay,
No, this is his
not
vision.
he's not constrained by anything. It
No,
seems.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. I just love that he went with the character designs of the McFarlane era, like from the webbing to the look of Mary Jane, Venom, everything. Right?
Yeah.
It's great stuff. And then finally we got Amazing Spider-Man number 57 this week.
Yep. Got my issue here. What can you say? I like this comic. I think this is maybe knowing that the stories or that their arc is ending. I enjoyed the art of this comic. This is something that suits JRJR style, it seems. And it's sort of the cat and mouse game between Tombstone and Spider-Man. First of all, let's get things I don't like. How does Spider-Man end up in the fucking jail and talking to him on the phone like this? That's what I don't get.
Good question.
But other than that, if you give you let that slide there, and then that's where he finds out that what Tombstone's going on bail, and then they put all these plans because he's not going to hurt his daughter. He's going to go after what's that, Robbie. So they make all these plans to save Robbie, and then he does end up going after Janice. I guess that big lion story is coming into play there, but I'm enjoying this. I think it was a good run. Even this White Rabbit, they kind of, she's thinking twice about stuff, but it shows that she's still ruthless and evil. They kind of almost had her in some funny stories a while back, so it's good to see her kind of be more villainous again. And yeah, just some good action all around, and like some twists and turns in the story that keep you interested.
Yeah, I enjoyed this as well. Nothing spectacular, nothing amazing. Just some
Yeah,
good
like,
old, just some
a
good
good
old
story right
Spider-Man.
now is that's like above par for what's been going on in ASM.
I am interested in what's going on though. It's a good story being told, and I'm looking forward to the conclusion. And I much rather them go out with this storyline for Zeb Wells than the last one
Yeah,
that he
for
just ended
sure.
off on. So yeah, I'm happy to see this continue. This
Imagine they ended on gang war. Ooh, that would have been freaking brutal.
yeah, no, not the highlight of his run, that's for sure.
No, that's for
One of the
sure.
lowest points. What'd you give this?
I'll give this a 3.75
Same.
for Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for the books we want to talk about this week. But let's take a look at what we're looking forward to reading next week. There, Chris, you got your list ready?
Yeah, bring it up here. What's that? September 18th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess out of Image, there's Destro. I might start trying to even read the regular GI Joe, see what's going on in that story. But yeah, it's just Destro out of Image. What do we got in Marvel? Yeah, I got another Spider-Man coming up again. No, that's this one here. Oops. But X-Men 4, I think I got that. I might start trying to read the Avengers again, see what's happening in there with that Hyperion guy or coming back into play. I'll see what's happening in X Factor 2. Maybe give Dazzler a quick read. a bunch of Venom stuff, but I'm not really interested in any of those Venom follow-ups. Let's see what's going on in DC. I think I got this World's Finest 31 coming. I think I got Batman, Superman. I think Wonder Woman's in the mix. See what Superman 18, Wonder Woman 13. I guess this is with the baby cover, or no, it's not. Maybe I got the Archer. I'm not sure. Catwoman 68. I think I'm in on this still. I don't know why. That might be it. I might read a few more. It's this Long Halloween. I feel like I'm going to miss out on that. I'll probably read it. I hope it's not good.
Next week that I think that's number 0. Yeah, so that's some previously released material.
Okay.
But it's going to be a good setup for what the series will be. But yeah, I think that came out already before. I think that's why I didn't order that one. But what else we got here? Batman, Superman, World's Finest, Batman the Barbarian. I'm really very much looking forward to that.
Was that out?
Yeah, at least I have it.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Is it on there?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. So if that does come out next week, I'm very much looking forward to that. Unless it got re-solicited. I don't know. I have it on my list here, but sometimes these things get re-solicited. Dark Knights of Steel All Winter number 3, Destro number 4, Falling in Love on the Path to Hell number 4. Ultra Mega, The Return of Ultra Mega, which is that kaiju comic by James Herron. That the first series was really good, so I'm looking forward to the return of that.
Yeah, if I see that out there, I'll definitely read it.
Yeah, Wonder Woman 13, X-Men 4, and probably my favorite of the X-Men launches, which Chris did not like. X Factor number 2 comes out next week. The only one with something interesting and different to say out of all these X-Men books. I will say that. You got to admit that.
Yeah, it would have been interesting in freaking 2015 or something.
Oh wow. And then there's gonna be some things I'm sure I'm gonna read digitally, but that's the things I'm picking up physically next week, and many of which actually I feel like I've dropped in the next couple of months. But well, hold on, let's see here. What did they drop here? I think Falling in Love on the Path to Hell. I'm switching to trade. Destro's Ending. Batman, Dark Knights of Steel. I've dropped. Yeah, that's it. Anyways, all right, Chris, your favorite book of the week. It was a difficult week, actually. I don't know here. I think I know. Yeah, go ahead.
I think I know too. At least for me. I don't want to give it to them, but I'm gonna have to give it to freaking the Spider-Man Reign 2.
We're also giving it to Spider-Man Reign 2. I actually didn't realize until we talked about it. It was just a tight week because there wasn't any like big standouts. I'd probably say there's
a lot of good comics, but nothing great.
I think the only runner-up to for me would be Ninja Turtles this week, but I'm gonna give it to Spider-Man Reign 2 because talking about it, I realized just even because of the art on this one, I gotta give it to this one because it really tapped into one of my favorite periods of X-Men. Spider-Man with the McFarlane kind of like look to it. So gotta give it up to that. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this week. Make sure to check back with us next week, as always, on Comic Shop Talk. Make sure to like and subscribe. And hopefully we can get some light on Chris for the next episode.
Times are changing here. We're getting back into our dark days. I'll have to get back by the breakfast bar or whatever you want to call it. Get off the couch.
Next time you see me, I'll have to hook you up with a light of some sort. You can just put it on yourself. We'll see. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one, though. Thanks again to Chris, as always, and we'll see you guys next week. Later.
All right, take it easy.
Or hopefully you'll see Chris next week.
Well, it might just get tanned. It might even be darker next time.
Chris says, I have the night. All right, later, guys.